Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The creator of this film you are about to see, Holy Smoking Pipe Padre, has asked me if I would come out and give you all a friendly little warning. You see, the film you are about to see, A Day in October, is a revolutionary film. It is a film that might inform you, it might even entertain you, and it might even horrify you. And so we were hoping that if we gave you this opportunity to turn the video off, then, well, we warned you. All right, let's see if we can get some coffee here. Should let it bloom a little bit, but oh well. Okay. Yeah, just a wee bit more. Can't go wrong there. This is the new kitchen here in Tahoe City. Coffee cup, right. You go over there, right, okay. So, hopefully that's all working. Does that work? Okay. So, if I tap that, there we go. All right, so this is the new kitchen, and as you can see, that's the outdoor view there. And there we are. Here we are outside. Where I made one of my videos, my very first earlier videos here. Kind of go up the steps here. And you can see that it's quite a beautiful autumnal day. Okay, there we are. It is about 36 degrees here in Tahoe City. And as you can see, I'll go back in here. There's the old kitchen there. Okay, and here we are back in the old kitchen. And let's see if we can get a little bit of Java here. Oh, look at that. That is the nectar of the gods. Ah, that's a great cup of coffee on a very, very cold day. Let me go outside a little bit more, take some more shots, and we'll be right back. Well, howdy there, Pipe Pals. Holy Smoking Pipe Padre, here with you. Okay, so I'm going to see how this works. I'm here in the dining room and trying to get a pipe going. So I hope you're doing all. I hope all of you are doing well. And thank you for taking the time out to watch my October video. Okay, so we're smoking the little Dunhill I got a few months back when I first got here. And we're smoking some of that Tinderbox blend. I think it's called Pina Colada. Yep. And so here we are in the new rectory. And see, I got a cup of coffee here in my Papa Bear mug. Yeah, somebody gave me this Papa Bear mug when I first got here. So I guess I'm the Papa Bear. Okay, well, how y'all doing? It's October, I think it's the 26th, if I read my dates right. The 26th of October. And so that's why I'm making my October video. I think I did my September video at the very end of the month. And in years past, I've taken upon myself to do kind of a special little spooky, ghostly, Halloween-y kind of a thing. Trying out Just my hand at good old filmography. This is pretty darn good. I haven't had a pipe in almost a month. It's very sweet, very flavorful. Without any tongue bite, I'm surprised to say. Very happy to say, too. Now, and right now I'm doing I call it the Hollywood lights. And, but if I turn it off, I'm afraid it won't come back on. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. If it goes off during the video, it does. I've been using you're getting the new GoPro Hero 8 for some outside shots. The room or the house tour. Not really an official house tour. I'm still trying to move in. Maybe I'll take a little video of this little dining room area, show you my little setup here so you kind of can see what's going on. So I hope you're all doing well. I've been okay. Been having some just you know, kind of the normal old age kind of things that happen when you get older. But anyway, I digress. So I thought I'd get on here and make a video. And I want to, first of all, do a few shout outs. The old gentleman scholar, Gary, is always nice. Gary, you sent me a little text the other day and I didn't get back to you. I apologize. A public apology. I'm sorry that I did not get back to you sooner, but I'm well. Thanks for just texting me and saying hi. I appreciate that. And to some of the guys and gals, I guess, who sometimes follow me on my other YouTube channel, my homily channel. Homilies are us. And so anyway, I just got to say, as I sit here and kind of start to wind down a little bit, it's about, oh my gosh, it's later than I thought. It's actually a little bit after 4. I thought maybe a little bit after 2, but I kind of lost a little bit of time. I was doing some other things. And so I thought, you know what, I just haven't had the time to sit down and enjoy not only a pipe, but just making a video, having fun, learning some new things. This is good. I have to, maybe that's the secret in life, is that do I got a little zit starting down there? Probably do. All the fun, all the good things in life are really good and enjoyable if you don't overdo it. If you just enjoy them periodically, that kind of enhances their enjoyment all the more. And I know that we've talked about, or I've talked about on this channel on many occasions, addictions. And, sometimes people, do not take too kindly to people that, use tobacco or alcohol or maybe even caffeine, because they can be, for most people, they are addicting substances. Chocolate, that's another one. And I would even say fast food. I don't know about you guys, but, I have gone literally years without fast food. And the moment I reintroduce it in my life, I got to have it like almost the next day. It's a little bit scary. Now, with the pipe, can I enjoy it as I am right this moment? Absolutely. Do I smoke a pipe every day? Well, little confession there, pipe pals. I really don't. Maybe a lot of you all do, and God bless you. And that's not a judgment against you in any way, shape, or form. I just don't have the time. I know it's not to some people it might sound, what do you mean you don't have the time? You have the time to eat and go to the bathroom, right? Why don't you have time to smoke a pipe every day? I heard you say that. Yeah, I heard, at least I thunk it. I could thunk it that some of you were thinking that myself, or yourselves. Again, I think I've shared this once or twice before, believe it or not, in my little 10-year stint here as the Holy Smoking Pipe Padre. That's me. I have battled my own addictions with alcohol, and I'm pretty happy to say that alcohol is not a part of my life anymore. It's amazing. I'm very grateful to God that somehow that whole obsession finally was removed many years ago. And I can be in the presence of people drinking, and I can even, be in a liquor store or whatever. Of course, I don't have occasions to go to liquor stores anymore. But I'm just saying that it's not a part of my life. It's just like, what's something in our lives that we probably don't really, it's probably like, going into the store, and instead of going down the liquor aisle, because you're like, oh, I gotta, that's where you're going, you feel that this compulsion to do that. It's like I don't have a real compulsion to go and, look at rutabagas. Just don't have that. Rutabagas do not have power over me in my life today. It's just not something I think about, and I'm very grateful for that. But a pipe. Occasionally, it's a real joyful thing. It's a blessed thing. It gives me a lot of contentment, and I really do enjoy it. But I don't smoke every day, and that's not to say that I'm somehow better than you all or whatever. It's just the way it is. It's like there are some people that can maybe have a dessert once in a blue moon, and they don't think anything of it. They enjoy it, and that's the end of it. It's just it's not like the next day they're like, oh, I've got to have another dessert. I got to have that sugar rush or that sugar fix or that sweet fix, But I think that in some ways it's kind of nicer to have that kind of ability, or that, maybe not so much an ability, because it's nothing I do. It's just who I am, and I really do find myself when it's the perfect. See, to me, autumn, fall, winter. To me, these are the really wonderful pipe smoking, moments that you can enjoy, especially up here in the beautiful woods. And God's creature, God's nature and stuff. And, I wonder if I'll see a bear walking over here another day. I don't know. Invite a bear in for a pipe, say, hey bear, come over here. Yeah, you want a pipe there? Hey buddy. Hey, woo, woo. Anyway, I don't know, Yogi. The ranger wouldn't like it. Yeah, probably anti-smoking rangers, yeah. But anyway, so I'm just sitting here enjoying a pipe with you, and you, and you, and you, and yes, you in the back there. So I thought I'd better get my October video kind of, get to it, because I got to be honest with you, this once a month thing has, if anything, it's made me consistent. Okay, so some of the things that are going on with my life, those of you who are interested, I have, believe it or not, I remember a couple of years ago, I started taking the cold showers in, I think it was October, 2 years ago. Now, I didn't do it. last year, only because my back was still kind of recuperating, and I just didn't want to take that chance of slipping in the tub, getting my feet wrong and my back going into a spasm. Those of you who have had back problems, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I just didn't want to take a chance and, re-injure myself by just, being in the cold water. And, when you're in the cold water, when I'm in it, I turn around a lot, I move around and, kind of get my body all just soaking wet with all that wet, wonderful water and wet, cold, wonderful water. And it was cold this morning, let me tell you. Yes, I'm doing the 30-day challenge. Today is, again, October the 27th, not 26th, 27th. And I'm doing the 30-day challenge. It actually started a couple of days before October. So, but anyway, I've been doing that every day. In fact, I've even cheated a little bit and took in a couple of extra cold showers. Those of you who are interested in this kind of phenomenon, and you want a kind of an easier way to kind of gently get into it, I have to say I've tried it in a couple of ways. Mostly, for me, it's as brutal as it sounds. And right now I think the water was really close to freezing this morning. I really felt it. But what I do is I just turn the water on as cold as it'll go, and I literally just hop in and just let that water hit me. Boom! A friend of mine's kind of a little bit afraid that I might be setting myself up for a heart attack. I hope I'm not. Of course, I think you have to have a heart in order to have a heart attack, and I don't have one, so I'm okay in that regard. But anyway, so this morning I was quite frigid, quite chilly, but very invigorating. And boy, this morning I woke up, I felt all beat up and everything, and I have been probably eating a little too much treats and sugar because it is Halloween, So after I got down and unlocked the doors, because I have to lock the doors at night and then I have to open them myself. Got to do a lot of things here by myself, which is okay. So I was just feeling just absolutely beat. And I said, I know what'll really get me going. So I turned that water on and I jumped in, and all of a sudden I went, oh my gosh, this is cold. This is colder than I've ever experienced it. But it wasn't, it kind of took my breath away. But at the same time, because I've been kind of conditioned, it wasn't as shocking as it maybe would have if I just started today, the $30-day challenge. So anyway, I have been doing that, and I think kind of reaping the benefits from that, and it's good. I'm happy to say that my lower back issues, I think, have pretty much cleared up. I still have a little bit of stiffness from time to time, but I think I just old age. I really would like to get back out and start trying to do some more vigorous exercises. I mean, the region I live in is so absolutely beautiful. I mean, I feel like I'm sinning by not really going out and walking along the river, which I could do probably every day if I wanted to. I just got to find, there's places where you can park and where you can't park. And I can technically walk down to the river, but it's a mile to get there instead of just being right out the door. There's a nice trail that goes either way from right outside the rectory, and they're beautiful walks, don't get me wrong, but you could actually walk along the Truckee River, which is absolutely, beautiful every time of the year, but this year, especially in fall, all the beautiful birch trees and aspen trees and, the maples, and it's just, gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. So anyway, I just thought I'd get on here, and I wanted to share some things, but I don't know if I really want to go into the time that would take for me to do that. Hold on a second, let me tamp this down. So, a little update on my little kitty cat, Elsie. She never did come home. And as sad as that is, and it is, I got this other little kitty cat named Betty. That was her name at the shelter, so I just kept that. It kind of grew on me. And she's a wonderful little cat, but unfortunately, I'm afraid she's sick. She's a little sick animal, and I've had the vet look at her, and he basically told me that some of these kittens get these infections. It's a virus called the Khaleesi virus. And he said, it's kind of a 50-50 shot. He goes, there's nothing we can do other than just diagnose it and say, yeah, that's what she's got. And either they grow an immunity to it as they grow up from kittens to full-grown cats, or they don't. And so, I don't know what's going to happen, because she's a sweet little cat, but she's very, very kind of lethargic and kind of listless sometimes. Most cats are just lazy. They can sleep, but when they get up, they're just like balls of energy. This little cat can kind of, like just a few minutes ago when she was playing around in my office for the first time, I could see that she's like, oh wow, she's excited about, new surroundings and new toys and new things to play with. And I haven't seen her quite like that in a long time. So, maybe she's coming out of it. I just hope so. She had really bad bronchitis and little conjunctivitis in her eyes, and she was a mess there for a couple of weeks. But anyway, they did give her some antibiotics to take care of the secondary infection, but time will tell whether or not she will actually amount to an actual natural immune to this Khaleesi virus. I hope she will. But anyway, we'll see. But, they got to take care of her regardless, so I'm hoping that things will work out. The thing I wanted to kind of just talk about, some of you may have been hearing about this past month of October, this Amazonian summit that's been going on in Rome. And it's been very problematic for a lot of people, because it appears, and there seems to be obviously lots of evidence to support this fact, that the Pope and some of his hand-selected bishops are in favor of kind of jettisoning traditional Catholicism in favor of neo-paganism. It's, if somebody was telling me this and I didn't see it for myself, I'd say you're ridiculous. You don't know what you're talking about. Obviously, you're mistaken. But to see, pagan idols introduced into Christian or Catholic ceremonies in the Vatican, and people bowing down and worshiping this little Pachamama, not my mama, not your mama, but Pachamama little idols, it defies description. It defies, belief. Like, what's going on? And it's very disturbing. It's very concerning for so many Catholics that I know. And the problem is that I think, and again, I could be totally wrong. I was actually going to make a big dissertation about all this, but I just don't know if I can do it right now. I'm just going to share with you some highlights, but that's about all I'm going to do. But it just looks like there's. It's like when you panic over a crisis. Now, the worst thing you can do is do nothing. But the second worst thing is you can do something out of panicking, and what you'll do is just make things worse, much worse. And I think the issue is maybe twofold. The old scandal, the crisis, the sex abuse scandal, certainly has done a lot of harm to so many people, either directly or indirectly or both. And maybe the higher ups, the higher echelons, they feel that they've got to do something, so they're almost willing to, literally push the destruct button and see what happens. Like, well, this ain't working anymore, so let's just blow it up and then see what we can build from what remains. It just seems like that. And that's what's causing a lot of consternation and concern among so many, I would say, just Catholics, just people that love the Catholic faith. It's interesting to note that Halloween, All Hallows Eve, which some people will say was kind of a bastardized pagan ceremony, Samhain or whatever, and then the Christians or the Catholics transformed it. In many ways, we did that a lot to say, okay, you can still celebrate, quote unquote, this occasion for coming together. People love coming together for reasons, whether it's a Super Bowl or the World Series is, things like that, but and so what they did was they said, okay, instead of worshiping these pagan, deities that really aren't gods to begin with, they're just demons, basically. Let's put something Christian in there. Let's like, for example, All Saints Day. Let's celebrate the saints, the great examples of faith and heroic virtue. Let's celebrate those people. And then the next day we celebrate All Souls Day. We pray for our loved ones who have gone before us. Those reposed, and we pray that as they make their final journey to heaven, that God will then forgive their sins and bring them into the final beatific vision. That's basically seeing God face to face. So, I've also noticed that I don't think it gets a lot of play. And correct me if I'm wrong if you are a Protestant person, and you would care to chime in and say, well, actually, we do recognize Reformation Sunday, or Reformation Day. I guess that's what, instead of All Hallows Eve or Halloween or All Saints Day, they call it Reformation Sunday, or Reformation Day, I guess. And so when you think about that, the good old Reformation, basically what happened was a lot of people felt that because of the corruption of the clergy in the Catholic Church, that somehow the Catholic Church was defunct. It was moribund. It wasn't valid anymore. And I think that one of the things that I believe and I've learned is that, individuals who supposedly represent God and the church, they can err. They can even do horrendous crimes against innocent people. They can hurt people. Unfortunately, we have history of that happening in recent history and ancient history. But again, we're all a collection of sinners. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Okay? So, I had to really realize that, okay, when individuals in the church do unspeakable things or questionable things or even possibly heretical things, that's not the church. That's not the Christian faith. Those are poorly flawed, sinful individuals who have, for some reason, have not really embraced the faith to where they would realize that these actions that they're doing are wrong. So, I think that's the challenge, is that, with the Protestant Reformation is, well, let's just split and go do something else. Or do you stay in the midst of the fight and try and change things and correct things? And it seems to me that Christian Catholic history also has a lot of wonderful examples of people who stayed and were good examples of the faith. And they just they didn't give in, they didn't quit, they didn't run away. They challenged. Now again, I'm not talking about taking the sword to the infidels or the heretics, but I think the people that are in error need to be lovingly challenged and say, sorry, you're going against what the scriptures and the traditions and the dogmas and the teachings and the catechism and all that, you're going against that. You can't do that. Why? Because that's, we believe, is divine revelation. Okay? So you're going to say for 2,000 years we were doing it this way, but now we have to do something different and pretty much throw out all that has come before because somehow it wasn't working. Actually, I think that if the Pope and some of these high-ranking cardinals, if they truly made, now maybe it wouldn't be, again, if it was sincere, it would be one of the most powerful things in the world. If they literally humbled themselves and publicly, denounced their errors and said, you know what, because I believe that all of us, even when we're lost in our sinfulness and we're blinded by pride, some God sends these little humble messengers that just kind of walk onto the stage. And they're just those people that seem very insignificant until God uses them at the right time. And maybe some of you remember the little Peanuts cartoon in Christmas, Charlie Brown Christmas. And all of a sudden, Charlie Brown is just frustrated and everything is going bad. And finally, would somebody please tell me what Christmas is all about? And all of a sudden it gets really quiet and the lights go down and just this little spotlight comes on and the little Linus character comes out and says, sure, Charlie Brown, I'll tell you what Christmas is really all about. And he reads this little portion from Luke. And, even as a kid, I get little goosebumps just hearing that because, why? Because that's the truth. That's what it's all about. And I'm hoping that somebody somewhere in the Vatican or wherever they need to be right now, that they're going to come out and they're going to be able to say, because it's happened before. It's happened before in the history of the church, where it looked like they were ready to just basically sell it lock, stock, and barrel because it's busted, and they didn't want to stay and fix it. And somebody said, a couple of times to some different popes, I'm sorry, Holy Father, you can't do that. And they said it with such clarity, such sincere truth that it was overwhelming, that the person in authority, they couldn't escape it. They couldn't deny it. They couldn't hide from it. They had to face it. And they repented. And they changed their lives, and they can change the course of the church. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for that. Again, I do believe that somewhere in those hallowed halls of the Vatican or wherever in Rome somewhere or in some whatever, there's going to be that one voice that no one's going to be able to refute. They're going to all be convicted. It's going to be like, oh, man, have we made a mistake? And they're going to cry out, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. And, that kind of seems to be the way of it. It's like, when people try, it's like, it's kind of funny, things aren't working. And so it's sort of like the apostles or the disciples. They were kind of like, well, we can do this on our own, Jesus. Jesus, we got it from here. We'll take it from here. And they made a mess of everything. And Jesus has to come and save them. But that's what he does because he is a savior. Unlike some of the popular theology that somehow Jesus was somehow maybe divine, but as he walked the earth, he wasn't divine, and then later became divine again. That'd be like me going to, say, a foreign country, which I have done before. Like when I went to Germany, I was still an American. I wasn't in America, but I think I was still an American. I think I was an American when I went to Bosnia. I think I was an American when I went to Kosovo or Albania. I think I was American when I was in England. I might have been even an American in Paris. I'm just saying. So that heresy, unfortunately, seems to be infecting the Vatican as well. It's kind of scary. Jesus Christ is true God and true man. And there never was a time when he was not divine. Okay? So all I can say is that do you run away or do you stay? And I love it when, after Jesus gave that beautiful teaching, that very difficult teaching on the Holy Eucharist, unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you will not have life within you. And we are told that many of the disciples that were following him said, this is a hard saying. Who can endure it? And they said, see it, Jesus, we're out of here. And then the other 12 disciples just standing there gobsmacked, like, what's going on here? And they just, it's like maybe they were the only ones left. Who knows? But you kind of get that impression. And Jesus says, and you? What about you guys? And Peter says, Lord, to whom shall we go? You are the one who has the words of eternal life. That's it. So I'm hoping that as crazy as a lot of these things have been in the last few years, that there will be a real move of God's Holy Spirit, and that, again, and I'm not trying to be self-righteous. I am a sinner. I try to do the best I can. Sometimes I do okay, and sometimes I don't do so good. That's just reality. But I'm hoping and praying that that there will be a real repentance and a change of heart. And who knows, maybe things will get to a point where we'll see truly a rebirth of faith again. Because I think what we're seeing now is a panicking hierarchy that is pretty much they don't know what they're doing. They're in panic mode, and they're flailing around, sort of like Beto O'Rourke, that kind of thing. They don't really know what they're doing or saying. They're just going through these motions, and But eventually, I believe that voice of clarity, which is divinely inspired, will speak, and hopefully, if there is just a modicum of faith in the hearts of these people, that they will repent, they will cry out to the Lord and say, Lord, forgive me, I did not know what I was doing, and things will take a better turn, and maybe the church will one day regain its credibility, because right now we are suffering almost a semi-mortal blow of lack of credibility because of the scandal. But again, the thing is that the world is not our friend, and unfortunately, maybe we have made friends with very dubious people in the world who really are not our friends. And maybe we're looking to these people, quote unquote, which is kind of a scary thing, but maybe that's exactly what's going on, for these people to save us economically or financially. And, we're making a pact with the devil. And until we kind of wake up and say, wait a minute, we don't need the world's money. We don't want it. We'd rather live, the gospel just as humbly as St. Francis did, and, God will meet our needs. God will always meet our needs. May not give us the best. Actually, God always does give us the best. when you stop and think about it. It may not be materially, it may not be, you know, the stuff you buy in the pricey stores, but at the same time, he always gives you stuff that is the best. It definitely will be the best thing for you and for me. So, okay, well, that's all I really wanted to share with this video. I thank you for watching. I hope you're all well, you know, and I hope you're getting ready to have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'll be back with probably either a little bit before or a little bit after Thanksgiving, and have a little Thanksgiving video for November. Then we'll kind of close out the year with the December video. And who knows, maybe we'll have more of a regular presence in the new year 2020. It's going to promises to be a real rip-roaring kind of a year, that's for sure. Okay, I wouldn't want to miss it for anything. So thanks for watching. Blessings to all of you. And as I like to say, light up your world and light up your bite. We'll see you now. Bye-bye.